Hello, YouTube. Yes, hello, YouTuber. So, this is the rebalance that Russia has now, but this is also the rebalance that we will be getting. It's going to be pretty much exactly the same, so we may as well go over it while we can, I think. And then see how that goes. At +5, you get 155 melee resistance. Ah. Yeah, the crate armor does look very good then. So there's some, I don't know what this is meant to be, but this article, we tried to convey the essence of today's update, which is, again, update we get in like 2 weeks on global. An informative as possible, which changes the characteristics of all weapons, consumables, enchants, and artifacts. So it's literally rebalancing everything from what it looks like. They are changing not at the haste of a pike. Okay, what I don't know what all of this stuff is, but a new balance calculation system, a reliable foundation that will allow solving the most important problems of Stalcraft. This just seems to be like them covering what they plan to get out of this. The rebalance is intended to solve the problem of imbalanced artifact builds as intuitive game difficulty curve, toxic one-shots, the dominance of combat suits over the rest, and the inability to introduce and maintain new types of equipment. So the thing that I don't get, though, is, like, isn't combat designed for PvP? So doesn't it make sense that combat suits would be ideal for PvP? That's where I'm a little bit confused. Like, just generally, I thought combat was for PvP, science was for artifact hunting, combo was for, like, the best of both worlds, essentially. And then things like the Jaeger armor were just very good at, like, fighting bosses. But, hey. I haven't played the game long enough, I guess, to understand. Support does not accept requests for the return of disassembled items with your own hands. Therefore, we strongly advise you not to take hasty actions with your equipment. Yeah, sure. In the following, we will cover the effective types of equipment, and at the end of the article, we will link a table with complete changes. So apparently there is a table to go over as well. So this is artifacts, I believe, right? The principle of construction, the characteristics of artifacts has been changed. Now all artifacts have 3 properties. Basic, the strongest, pumped. No idea what that means by pumped, but additional, the second in strength. And then additionally appears after pumping the... Oh, okay, so upgrading, I'm guessing. Pumping the potential, their expectations. The old debuffs have been practically removed, leaving mostly only the introductions of infections. So, I'm guessing what that means is it's only for the infections and stuff. Like, you're not going to get, like, bonus bullet resistance, for example. I'm guessing that's what they're trying to say with that. Again, this is translated, so there might be some errors. Reduced input and output of the infections from artifacts. Decreased body output from 1 to 0.5 when exposed to radiation, temperature, and bioinfection. And from 3 to 1.5 when exposed to psi. Containers have changed characteristics and the number of slots. All I'm hearing is I'm going to have to spend a lot of time in-game making builds and going over them. Right. Protections against infections has been returned to some artifacts. Radiation. Okay, I'm not going to cover all of this, but it's on the screen. In contrast, cut the character survivability. Frost-type artifacts now have a negative infestation in the form of abnormal frost, which ignores the protection of containers. Yeah, some of the stuff could be mistranslated, but we're going to try our best. Added 2 new artifacts, Transformer and Radiator. They are similar to the Bubble and Sea Urchin artifacts, but with the main output of psi impact and temperature, respectively. Artifacts have had their infestations, I-O, changed to make it harder to create builds to protect against danger zones. Hence, the base output of the organism has also been reduced. At the same time, artifacts with protection against infections were returned, so they gave access to dangerous zones with damage to the combat characteristics of suits. Honestly, I run around in science gear half the time now anyway, so I just don't care, personally. Okay, so these dates don't matter. This is where it gets a bit, whether it matters or whether it doesn't. You have the opportunity to receive compensation for the resources spent on leveling artifacts. I guess we'll still get this, just don't look at the date. This feature is available for all artifacts on your character, has included the mail and in containers. You have two options for artifact compensation: removing personalizations from an artifact in case you want to sell a pumped artifact. The pumped artifact, like the word pumped just feels odd. Am I the only one that finds it odd? I don't know, saying it feels weird. Anyway, and resetting the potential with the return of all energy spent if you think that the artifact is no longer worth upgrading it. Okay, so there's compensation for artifacts that you may have already upgraded and, no longer seem good for you. When choosing the second option, you'll receive the resources calculated based on the average cost of leveling an artifact, during which catalysts are not used, and the maximum charge is restored once upon completion of leveling. In total, you'll receive lots of anomalous batteries. Oh, nice. Why? Anyway, proto artifacts whose number is based on restoration to maximum strength, and then 0 catalysts. I don't think we have catalysts, though. I don't believe we have that yet. I could be wrong. Can be issued additionally in both compensation options, blah, blah, blah. So this is all just, they're giving compensation for if you no longer like a artifact, I guess. And then this is in Russian, so I don't know what this is, but lots of artifacts at the auction were removed and returned to the owners during technical work. The commission for placing the lot was returned. Bets on withdrawal. Okay, this is again just all kind of like crowd control for the change. Only players who had it in their inventory to mail. Blah 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 blah. This is all just compensation. So I don't feel like covering that at all. Right, consumable changes. So just to quickly say this, I still think it's bullshit, and I know that they are working on it. It's still weird that bandits have a consumable that can be crafted from a quest that gives you benefits, and stalkers don't. I still think that's just stupid, but whatever. The principles of constructing the characteristics of consumables has been changed. Now the number and size depend on the level of the consumable and its orientation. Radio protectors, antidotes, thermal barriers, and side blockades received bonuses in protection against infections, but at the same time they lost their survivability and effectiveness of treatment. The cost and availability of protective consumables has changed. All food now works similar to RRP and provides long-term small buffs. Okay. I mean, there has been functional food before. But yeah. Like, we have food. On the bandit side, you have food that gives you changes. Infection changes. Previously, infections worked from one extreme to another. They either killed instantly or were helpless in front of a player with an infection resistance assembly. Infections now deal less damage, but in contrast, they now give more debuffs and can also apply additional effects. Radiation is bleeding, bioinfection, poisoning, thermal, burning. I feel like that's already the case, no? Anyway, infections have become more difficult to remove due to the weakening of the characteristics responsive from the withdrawal of artifacts and the organism. The strengths of the stopping effect bleeding poisonings have been changed. Next one. Costume changes. The old difference in survivability of combat and other suits has shown its inconsistency and manifests itself in the game in the form of absolute dominance of combat suits over all others, even inside infections. That's because the infections, in my opinion, aren't high enough. So it doesn't matter, right? You just took damage in zones you weren't immune to before. Ah, got you. This is where it confuses me, because the infections aren't exactly that high, which allow you to create builds in combat gear. Like, I still feel like to go into certain areas, science is the best. But I feel like they all have different things. I feel like combat armor is just retrospectively, again, for combat. I have no idea how it is on Russia, so maybe it is, needed. Now inside in infestations, taking into account new debuffs, protective artifacts, or consumables, the combat potential of armor is distributed as follows. Outside hazardous areas, combat, combo, science. And then inside, science, combo, combat. Honestly, that's how it should have been from the start. I have no idea how the new changes are going to destroy it. But yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm mainly in science gear anyway, so it is what it is. Until the rearrangement of infestations in locations, expected very soon, science suits will not reveal their full potential, but playing with them is now much easier than before. Kind of good then, because I'm running around in it anyway. It's kind of a win for me, just regardless. Oh, wait. The Explorer armor classes has been disbanded. Well, we all knew Explorer was pretty much useless, but damn. I mean, like, Scat 9, though, is not useless. That's Explorer, right? Scat 9 is probably one of the best armors still, in my opinion. The costumes related to it have been transferred to other categories. The upgrading of suits has been changed. Now it enhances only bullet resistance. Alright. Is that for every suit? So upgrading suits no longer change anything but bullet resistance. That's weird. That's a little bit weird.
Yeah. Before it was melee, explosion, and bullet.
Yeah, right. Change compatibility of containers with some suits. That's expected because some builds are just absolutely broken on certain armors. Makes sense. What else? Added an offer for a worn version of the Scat 9B to barter. Until May 26th. Again, don't take this date. This is not our date on global. A temporary offer is available to exchange the Dolgov armored suit, Avantgarde, for the super heavy armored suit. Again, we don't have them options right now, so it doesn't really matter to us. Weapon changes. I'm not going to give my opinion right now on any of the changes. We'll do that after. Like, I'll do that. With the changes, I will give my opinion once we have the changes on global and I'm able to actually play with them. Because for me, this is all speculative, like what's going to change and what's not. So speaking in general terms, the boundaries of the TTC were narrowed through the weakening of the strong and the strengthened of the weak. What does it mean, TTC? What is TTC?
Time to kill.
That's K. I know what TTK is. That's time to kill. What's TTC? Time to chat? Is that just a translation error? I think it might just be a translation error. TTK, time to kill. The time it takes to kill an enemy with continuous shooting at him. It is just a mistranslation. Okay. Sniper rifles will no longer be guaranteed to kill in one shot. It never feels like they are anyway, if I'm being honest. At least not on global. Unless the player is wearing a severely undeveloped suit. In return, they received enhanced debuffs designed to disable opponents after they need to be finished off. In other words, one shots were replaced by two shots, with which, under the new time to kill, snipers should feel confident. The one shots in the game with the huge headbox is a high life value, where toxic and annoyed the players rather than challenge them. The rate of fire of revolvers has been reduced. No! They're nerfing my Python. I just made a video on it, god damn it, and said it was good, and now you're going to make its fire rate slower. God damn it. Oh well, it's not that big of a deal. The fire rate of revolvers have been reduced to maintain an acceptable time to kill without reducing damage per magazine. It's fair enough. In all fairness, it did shoot too quick. General changes. Improved comfort of using sniper rifles, improved aiming, increased aiming speed and movement speed. Removed perks from pistols and machine guns due to uselessness, otherwise they would have to reduce their initial effect. Reduced rate of fire to maintain an acceptable time to kill without reducing the total damage per magazine. And increase the damage of revolvers. Change characteristics of explosives. Change the characteristics of melee weapons. No idea what that really means, but is how it is. Parlian, thanks for following, dude. Hope you're having a good day. Hold on, let me catch up with chat. Pardon my ignorance, but what is the point of having different items available in different regions? Have they said why they do that? Skis, the main reason is because in Russia, a lot of the stuff comes from loot boxes, and obviously we do not have loot boxes because no one would support it. So they have to find a way to add the same items into the barter tree. So it just takes longer to do so. That's all. Where is he viewing these changes? I'm viewing them in the Discord, !Discord. Ziggs translated it for us so we can read it. Again, for anyone that's on Global, if you're tuning into the stream or watching the future video that will be uploaded on this is not coming for a few weeks. We will get this in May. I did bring it up in my May video. This is when the rebalance is. We're looking at about 2 weeks-ish with a little bit of grain of salt on there to see these rebalances in Global. But these changes have happened on Russia. They haven't happened on Global yet. But they will be coming in the future of Global. We're just going over it now because we have the information available to us. So yeah. What else? RSH-12 ceased to be a sniper. Bruh. I'm making this pistol and now they're telling me it's not a sniper. I wanted a pistol sniper. Sad. The former AN-94 Abacan? Is that what it's called? Abacan? Was renamed to AN-94M, Abacan, I guess, and a new AN-94 of Stalker rank appeared in the barter. Everything that I'm making is just getting fucked over, it seems. Other balance changes adjusted stats for NPCs and mutants to maintain their danger levels for players. Equipment in dead time session mode retained the same characteristics. So for dead time, we don't have that yet, but I am obviously the second I have information on it and I'm able to play it, I will make a video on that. I have no idea what to expect because obviously we don't have it yet. But yeah, dead time I believe is like 4v4 balanced PvP for those that don't know. So that was the general change. So we have one more. What's next? The most time consuming and massive layer of changes has finally reached the game. And now we can more quickly respond to any shortcomings and quickly fix them. Also this year, at least 3 additional releases are expected as part of the rebalance, rearrangement of infections, compromise, whatever, in anticipation of the release of rebuilding the North. So apparently they're rebuilding the North, which is interesting. I'm waiting to see what that is going to look like, personally. Melee weapon rebalance, something tasty. Okay. Rebalance of body kits. We will put the current ones in order and lay the foundation of adding new ones. This article about rebalancing ends. That's pretty much it. You have to click on a little tick in the welcome bit, Luna. That's all. Do you reckon they will add OCE servers because 100 ping is really I don't know. I can ask about it though, Parlin. No worries, Skis. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, so it looks like the hand cannon is getting nerfed. That's like the main thing I take out of it, the thing getting nerfed. And then for everyone that didn't get their Twips drops, because apparently it's my fault, Fluffy has made this. Oh, you couldn't get your drops? Oh no. Yeah. That is what it is. I can't unsee that. But yeah, so that's the rebalance. That's the patch notes for Russia. Again, we get it in like 2-3 weeks in May. And we'll see how it affects the game on Global. That's about it. Let me know what you think on this. Let me know if there's anything you would change. Let me know if you think this is bad or good. And then we'll go from there. Time to complain some more though, from what I can see.